What we are looking at here is the MLS listings that my realtor sent me based on the criteria that we were looking for. Here's your story, let's begin. The water's fine, come on, dive in. So if you want to know more of what the criteria that we had, I did a whole separate video breaking down all of that stuff. So once Ricky and I sat down and we decided this is exactly what we want, we gave it to our realtor, and then he plugged it into what's called an MLS, and then he sent us the link. So this is what it looks like on our end. So you can see here, this is the Phoenix area. This is Mesa. This is where we live now. And then this is right over here is El Mirage. This is actually where we're going to be moving to. When we originally set this up, I had him do this box from this side of the 101 all the way over to this side of the 101. Ricky works, see this little corner, this little thing over here, that's where Ricky works. Right now, he was basically driving, he was taking this over to the 101, all the way up and around. That's his normal commute right now, which is about 32 miles. The house that we found over here in El Mirage, he just kind of jumps on this. This is called the US 60 Grand, and then he takes this 101 a lot shorter. So this distance here is only 18 miles. So he's, we're shaving off quite a bit of commute for him, so which is great. And then also I have one of my friends lives up in this corner right here. So I'm actually only 10 miles from her, where before I've been really far from her. So that's exciting. She has a daughter that's a little younger than Elsa, so we're excited to finally start doing play dates. Excited. But originally I had him, like I said, I had him doing this area here. This whole area here, this is Scottsdale, North Scottsdale. It's way out of our price range. There's nothing in our price range that's ever been listed there. So we pretty much knew after. Also, we started looking at houses. We looked at some houses in this area and down in this area, and we did not like the neighborhoods. They were just too run down and everything. So I had to move our area over here. So this is the new area that we're looking at. So the first thing we do when I come onto here, so obviously we already found our house, we're closing on the house, but I want to show you guys real quick the process that I took before we went and physically drove out and looked at these houses, because as you can see, our distance driving just to go look at the houses, we wanted to make sure every time we went and looked at a house, we had at least 3 houses to look at. So we looked at, I want to say we looked at least 10 houses before saying this is the one. So basically what you see here, you have the list, and it goes, from the cheapest down to whatever your price. So we told our realtor not to go over 180. We were pre-approved for 185. Realistically, we wanted to stay as close to 170 or below. That's what a comfortable monthly payment was for us. So even though we had these houses here, I wasn't really focused too much on them. I kind of focused on these ones first. And actually, this one right here is the same, roughly the same house that we ended up getting. This is a 3-bedroom instead of a 2-bedroom. So we'll come back to that. Sorry, just so excited. Whoa! Like I said, Ricky works right at this little tiny corner here. So the first thing I did was I look at the houses that are the closest to his work. So I would click on this one here, and it would bring it up over here, and it would show the outside and the price, okay? So the first thing, like I said, one of our criteria was that it at least had a carport. A garage was desirable, but not a deal breaker. But if there was no covered parking, that was kind of a deal breaker. So right here, there's a carport, so I would go ahead and click on it, and that way I can see the actual pictures. I'm not sure what you guys are going to be able to see on here. And these pictures are small. But yeah, we'll just do the best we can. So decent. So I'm looking, I'm looking for different criteria that we have. So right here you can see right off the bat that the front living room is carpet. So that's one of Ricky's no's, nots. Absolutely no carpet. Yes, it's cosmetic. You can rip it out. You can put new flooring in. But we wanted something that was move-in ready. And having carpet to us was not move-in ready in the front. It was okay in the bedrooms, but not there. So right away I know that's not what I'm looking for. So I go back to the map. So then I go to the next one that's the closest to his work. So I just want to give you a flow for what I'm looking for and what I'm doing. This one's been on the market for a long time, actually. This one's been on for a long time. It doesn't have a carport or covered parking, so that was a no. Then I come over this way. So this one, it's 174.9, a little higher than we want to be, but it looks like it has a garage, so we go ahead and open it up. So it has a garage. It's hard to tell what the roof looks like with this picture. And then we come in, okay, a small kitchen. Looks like it needs to be cleaned up a little bit. Older house. Nasty carpet in the front. So nope. Go back to the map. So you can see there's some gross houses on here. Okay, so this one, $179.9. So that's towards the top of our price range, but it has a carport. Let's take a look. All right, looks clean. The front is kind of fenced. One other thing we're looking at, because these might be areas we've never been in before, is if there's bars on the windows. If there's bars on the windows, that's a good indicator that whoever lived there didn't feel like it was safe. With the front yard being fenced, we see that all the time. So this looks like there's no, it seems like it's just one big open yard. That's interesting. Okay, tile, nice paint, looks good. Nice stainless steel appliances, nice kitchen. Like I said, it's a little higher on our price range. Take note, okay, you can't see on that picture, it needs a refrigerator. Bedrooms have carpet, not a deal breaker, but not ideal either. Nice bathroom. So you get the idea. So I go through and I look at all the pictures. Then what I do is I go to the detail page here, and I look to see how big it is. You know, I gave Chris, my realtor, I gave him information. I said, you know, we didn't want anything larger than a 3-bedroom, 2-bath. We didn't want anything, right here, the square foot, we didn't want anything really over like 1,400 square feet. So that's all within range there. The other thing I looked at is the size of the lot. Sorry you guys can't see it, it's cut off. It's 9,337 square feet, so it's a pretty big lot. But if we go back to the map, over here, we're not really sure what that area is like. The fact that it's a little out of our price range and it's not a fully fenced-in yard, that was one thing I forgot to mention on the video, was we wanted a fenced-in yard. So it's okay. I might come back and look at it more, research it more. But I'm going to come down here and look at some more real quick. Alright, so this one is actually similar to the house that we got, and you guys will see that in a tour video coming up. So the front of this house is similar because we just have the 1-car garage. Carpet in the front, deal breaker. So you can kind of see that's kind of how that's been going. Now, once we get to a home that we are interested in, we kind of like the price, we like the pictures, it matches our criteria, we think the area is decent. The next thing I would do is, I'm just going to use this one as a model. Let's go to the detail page here. Is I take the address and I plug it into Google Maps. Now, yes, there's a map on here, but I want to plug it into Google Maps because I look at 2 things. I want to see how far is it from Ricky's work, and then I want to see the satellite view and see what does the neighborhood look like. So let me show you real quick when I do that. I guess we're going to go to Google Maps. So you just plug in the address into Google, and then you'll have it here on the map. You can also look at it through like Zillow, because Zillow you can see the school district. I'll talk about that in a minute here. Okay, so it's on Google Maps. So like I said, the first thing I do then, I go ahead and I pull up the satellite view. Okay, and then I zoom in. I want to check out the neighborhood. I want to see what's in the neighborhood. Now this is the school. Now this is actually the same neighborhood that we're buying our house in. We're actually just over here at Charter, down the Charter Oak area. So this is the area. So you can zoom in. You can see, okay, because we are looking in neighborhoods that have no homeowners association. Okay, so I want to make sure that the neighbors, even though we don't have a homeowners association, I want to make sure they're still taking care of their property, that they have some sense of pride and ownership in their property, and that the whole neighborhood just isn't like full of junkyards, because we've seen it. So I kind of look through and I say, okay, it looks like a nice little thing. There's a little park right here. It's walking distance to the school. You know, I kind of look at that type of thing. This is before we actually go drive there. Okay. The last thing I do, like I said, is I look to see how far is it from Ricky's work. So let me zoom out real quick. Okay, say directions to here. Oh, we don't want to be walking. It takes all day. Alright, so it's about 18.5 miles. Okay? Now if he were to cut this way, it'd be less, but that's like a side street, so it'd probably take him longer to, yeah, see, it'd take 32 minutes instead of 29 minutes. So, but this is easy for him just to jump on to here. So that's, like I said, it's just, so our thing also was we didn't want it to be any any further distance than, say, maybe 20 to 25 miles, because like I said, he's currently 32 miles, so we didn't want to be, we're trying to get closer to his work. Also, by this area, we're kind of in a more central area because they do currently have, he's in construction, so yes, their jobs can change, but they also have some job sites right now going on over here by this 303. So we're in a good central location. So if he's working, they're supposed to be at this area for several years, but if they end up having him come over here somewhere temporarily, it's not a big deal. He's kind of in the middle of both of them, which is good. Okay, so that's kind of what we do with that. Then the last thing I did, like I said, I'd go on Zillow, and it has a list of the schools in that district. Arcadia School, where she's at right now, it's rated maybe like a 3, so we wanted to make sure that she had a higher than what she's currently at. So I believe the elementary school was a 6, and then the high school might be like a 5, but it's still better than what she's at right now. So that's kind of, that's kind of the steps that we took. So I would do that. I say, okay, the neighborhood looks decent. It's a good distance from Ricky's work. We like the pictures. We like the details. It kind of matches the criteria. Then I would go ahead and I would send, there's an MLS number. I would send that to my realtor. Like I said, I always try to make sure we had at least 3 houses to look at, because he was driving to meet us, and we were driving pretty far as well. So that's kind of the criteria that I looked at before actually going and physically looking at the house. Then once we got to the area, we would take note of how we got there. We'd take note of what the surrounding areas look like. We would take note what shopping was available. We like to go to Walmart. Like I said, we want to make sure that the area looks decent, things like that. So there were neighborhoods where there were some houses where the house looked amazing. The houses looked awesome. It was the right distance from Ricky's work. The neighborhood seemed okay. But then when we actually got down to the neighborhood, it was almost surrounded by a bunch of like industrial stuff. The closer you are to Phoenix, the overall area surrounding it just didn't seem very appealing. So that's why we had our realtor kind of narrow in our search. As we started seeing other neighborhoods, we knew, okay, we don't want to be in this area. We were able to narrow it down. Ideally, we had in mind, there was this neighborhood right up here. We saw a few houses in for about $179, and they were great, but they were gone. The moment my realtor called on it, they were already gone. So stuff was going fast. So we would have loved to be right here. Ricky would have only been like 3 miles from work. But then when we saw this area too, we liked this area as well. So there's plenty of stuff in this area. There's a hospital right here. There's Walmart, Home Depot, Lowe's, Fry's, Quick Trip, all that stuff that we normally would be going to over here. So that's fine. With me working from home, it allows us to be where Ricky's working. So anyway, so yeah, so that's, like I said, that's kind of what we did before we actually went and looked at houses, like physically drove and looked at houses. But that's why I said, if you guys get the MLS, that's just what you have to do. You have to kind of say, okay, how close you want to be, and then you just go property by property, picture by picture, information. You just keep looking at it, refine what it is that you're looking for, refine the area you're looking at. And like I said, at least have, try to have at least 3 houses that you can go look at on one given day. And that way you're getting a better idea of what's going on. Some people, they find that first house like the first time they go, and it's great. Super excited to show you guys the house. I'm going to give you guys a tour. Like I said, we close on Monday, so I'm going to give you a tour of the house before we move any furniture in. You guys have seen the apartment here, so you kind of have an idea of what furniture we do have. So that's all we're moving to begin with. We're very minimal. But because this will finally be our house, we can finally make it a home. We can finally start adding those home touches that we want to do, the decorating, things like that. But it will come in baby steps because we are still saving for some other things. And our goal is to pay off the house as soon as possible as well. So those are some things that we'll be doing slowly, but we'll keep you posted along the way. I hope this video helped you in some way of at least knowing how to, kind of navigate looking for houses online before you actually go driving all the way around there. Also, you can, on your downtime, you can always drive neighborhoods as well, and you can know ahead of time what some neighborhoods, we've done that before as well. We kind of drove some neighborhoods to see what areas we liked or didn't like. So again, I hope that helped you. Join me in the next video. Until next time, see you soon. Bye.